It's the Deep Slant 101 presented by Xfinity. Joining me, Jerry Hughes, year 14, year 2 with the Texans. First of all, can we just talk about your adorable family that was at training camp?
Yeah, no, they are incredible. Got 4 beautiful kids and an amazing wife. And so whenever they get the opportunity to, they always want to come out and root for the Texans. Make sure they first see Toro for anything.
Of course, yeah.
That's always like an absolute must. Get their high fives in, and then they're ready for football.
Like D'Amico Ryans, you've got a birthday that falls in camp every year. So this is how you celebrate your birthday every year? They come out and watch you practice?
And they make it worthwhile. I get signs, homemade cake. You can never go wrong with homemade cake.
No, I saw the signs.
Yeah.
They were all, and you just recently had another one. The 4th one is a baby.
Yep.
How old is the baby?
Baby Holt, he'll be 6 months on the 23rd. Is that today?
Yes.
Today the 23rd?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Good. Okay.
6 months today.
Well, maybe
yeah.
stop by and get some presents.
Right. I was going to say he doesn't need any more, but he'll certainly take them with a smile.
How old are the other kids?
I got a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're stacked up.
And they kind of know that Dad plays in the NFL. The older ones.
The older ones do. My 2-year-old, he's just happy to be out of the house. He was born during like COVID, so just take him out of the house, roll the window down in the car, and that'll make his day.
All right, so you and John Weeks have been in the league for 14 years. I asked D'Amico Ryans about this earlier. So when you were a rookie, he was still playing in the league, and you guys were in the same division. You were with the Colts. He was here with the Texans. Do you remember anything about D'Amico? I'm sure it was a blur your first few years, but what do you remember about him as a player?
You know what? I was actually here in high school when he first got drafted in 2006. So I just remembered the Texans picking him, then going with or Mario Williams first, then they picked him in the second round. It was just great just to see, the organization boost up the defense. Us from the fans' perspective, we were excited about it, and then just watching all of his highlights, watching him play his rookie year. I took off to college, went 4 years in TCU, came back, was with the Colts my rookie year. And when you're on defense, you focus so much on the offense and vice versa. So it was really just all about the Texans offense at that time. But it was just more so just being a fan and just watching the Texans defense play on the sidelines during those Sunday bouts.
All right, so Will Anderson, you voted for him for the Lott Award. Have you told him this?
No, I don't know.
You haven't?
No. I don't.
You should tell him you were one of his votes.
He's an Alabama guy. He probably has gotten so many awards and accolades. He probably wouldn't know what the Lott Award is. Yeah. I'll have to bring it up to him sometime.
You should. So what puts you over the top with him versus some? I mean, there's a lot of great players in this country, but what do you think put him over the top for you?
Being able to watch him on Saturdays and seeing how explosive he was. So it was like his explosion in the way he just jumped off the film that matched his stats, his numbers, just all of his production. And that's what you like to see, guys who are going out there producing, but then how do they look when they play? He's always someone who just has a knack for being around the ball, wants to be somewhere where he can take the ball out, trying to be that game changer, and that's what I like.
All right, so what's it like relating with some of the younger guys in the locker room? Is it weird? I mean, music's different. I remember we've had veteran guys say, the music's so different. They have different music. They communicate differently. They're on their phones using social media differently. What's the biggest difference, do you think, for you with some of these younger players?
I think I've been really lucky. A lot of them have had older brothers and sisters, like older siblings. So, like, the music isn't too far off. Like, I'll catch them turn on, like, they're listening to, like, some Montel Keith
90s?
Sweat. Yeah. like 90s R&B. And I'm kind of like
big,
looking back or like early 2000s. I'm like, you guys are like 5 years old and this song came out and they're like bobbing their head singing word for word. Somebody got up the other day and sang Candy Rain by New Edition. And I was just like,
who was that?
Wow. Oh my gosh. And I was just like, I don't want to put him out there like that.
Okay. Was this the Rookie Talent Show?
It was a Rookie Talent Show. I felt like the vocals were good, but guys are a little self-conscious about their vocals. I don't want them to kind of be on the spot where you might have to perform again. I felt like I should be in the old vet, but I'll take it easy on the young guys. But I've been really lucky with it. They've been playing a lot of music that I've been able to kind of listen to. Like I say, Rod Wave is still kind of new to me, but I can transition.
I can
move. Yeah. I can two-step to that guy.
I like that. All right. So what was your Rookie Talent Show act? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh, my Rookie Talent Show was at Ruth Chris, unfortunately.
Why?
Because it was just
eating steak.
It was just more so providing food for the D-line. So it wasn't really more of a talent. No, it wasn't. It was a great moment for us to come together until I saw the bill, and then I was like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it was like
Wow.
$50,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
Welcome to the
yeah.
NFL with your first big
Welcome
check.
indeed. Yeah. And that was the first time I'd ever seen a steakhouse deliver like frozen steaks and water bottles to people's cars, like out to like valet. Guys went grocery shopping.
Oh, they bought stuff for later to eat too. Wow,
they were nice enough to think about their family and loved ones at home
so kind of them.
on my dime. So certainly, yeah.
All right, so you're not a rookie anymore.
Right.
Last year, you had such a quietly fantastic year, I think. For the season the team had, you were just such a bright spot with what you were able to do year 13. I don't think anybody really knew how you were going to produce or what you were going to produce. When you look back at last year, what do you think was the key for you? And do you think about this year, how you can build on it?
Oh, certainly. I think the key for me was just staying in the moment, always being relevant, just focusing on the game, not worried about past mistakes, past failures, or anything like that. It's just always worried about what's going on Sunday, what's going on this down and distance, this point in the quarter, just trying to just really just live in that moment. I found myself doing that more, having a lot more fun, playing faster, being free, and just being myself. And I think that's the most key thing or at least that's what I've discovered at year 13. That's probably the most key in this business, in this league, of how you're going to do things. It's not really worrying about what you did last week, how you messed up at practice. It's just more, or the first quarter, the first drive, is what's going on now. How can you be present now, live in that moment now? And I think just me being able to do that and tap into that mentally really helped me out a lot last season. It's what I kind of passed down to the other guys in the locker room, in my room, so that they understand, it's 17 games. It's going to be a long journey. But let's not worry about, what happened last week. Not focus on things you can't control, always worried about your controllables. And I think for me, that was really, really key for me last year and probably really helped me out a lot.
Why do you think you learned that in year 13? What was different about last year that you really had that lesson taught to you?
I would think it was just coming off of the year we had in Buffalo, being so close to that AFC Championship game, being one play away, 13 seconds away, really, and then coming here and, starting all over. This is we were rebuilding at the time, so, we were just working on how to get that W. I think that was the most important part, going in week and week out. How do we find ways just to win this ball game? And when you're with a young team, there's a lot that goes into it, Monday through Friday before you even get to Sunday. And a lot of people, a lot of guys got to understand that as far as film study, taking care of your body, just doing the little nuances to just get yourself ready and prepared so you can go out and play fast. You got to do it. There's no steps you can skip. There's no magic pill that you can take and, and poof, you're ready to go. All those things are very important. And so I think just making sure everybody understood that on the field. I knew that as a 13-year-old vet, but it was just reiterating it to everyone on the team, because the great thing about football is that we're a three-phase team sport: offense, defense, special teams. Everybody has to go out there, execute, do their job at a high level, and then we get the outcome. But if we're lacking in any department, it's going to be a tough tier, overtime type game, or you might not get the outcome you want. And I think that was just me understanding that at year 13 was just like a light bulb moment.
All right, so this year, what sort of goals do you have for yourself? And does the change in defensive scheme, what do you think about that? Do you feel like that helps you? Do you feel like, oh, this is like another thing I've got to sort of adapt my skill set to? How do you approach it here in your 14?
I think with this scheme just being around it all off season, it's something that I'm going to really enjoy, just about attacking, being fast. That's something that I've always wanted to play. That's how I practice. It's just being fast, being able to process things fast. And so I think this just fits my skill level to a T. And then now it's just about getting everybody else on board, getting the entire D-line on board, getting the entire defense, and then letting that matriculate all the way down to special teams offense, because we're a young team, yes, but there's no reason why we can't go out there and do it now. I know everyone says, oh, you're young, worry about it next year. We're young, we have a lot of talent, why not now? And so it's just letting those guys understand that, everyone's going to count on us for the future, but what happens if we go out there and do it now? What are they going to say then? And it's just and you got to just prepare yourself mentally for that. Like I said, it's 17 weeks. It's a long season. So it's really just about breaking it down into quarters. What I like to do, what I've learned from some of the coaches in the past, is just breaking the season down into quarters. And in this first quarter, we got 4 games. How are we going to come about with those 4 games in mind and just moving along? We got guys coming from college who've been playing in, college playoff games, bowl games. So their seasons especially in the football sense, it's very, very long. It's up
It's
to
a lot
us.
longer,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's up to us who've been here, who've been pros. That these guys might hit this rookie wall. You might see them, moving
Around end
a
of
little
November,
bit slower.
early
Yeah.
December.
Yeah. And you got to just keep reminding them, man. Find your purpose.
Yeah.
Remember your purpose day in and day out while you're coming here to practice, and just make sure that you're always there to check off those boxes. And I think if we can keep doing that, keep finding ways to get better, sky's the limit for us.
All right, Jerry, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it. Happy birthday to your
thank
baby
you.
as
Thank
well.
you.
Thanks for the
Thank
time.
you. And thanks for having me.